checking in. It's the end of my workday and I am driving home. I've gotten 800 words done so far today. For the past couple days, I've been doing, instead of doing normal drafting, because I'm to chapter 15 and I'm about halfway through and I'm really looking forward to the next chapter, so I know I'm not going to lose my gusto to do the next chapter if I take a couple days and go back and do some editing. When I say I'm doing editing, I mean that I'm doing what I call beef up editing, which is basically going back in and adding a lot of scene setting and sensory stuff and like dialogue tags and stuff that I don't have in my first draft of chapters. And that might sound like it wouldn't add a lot of words, because I am legitimately like tracking my words. I've got to post it with like all these little tick marks for like every word I've added. But let me put it this way. Chapter 2, I started out at 2,100 words, like almost exactly. I think it was like 2,109 words. And when I was done going through and adding like details and stuff, I was at 3,200 and something words. I think it was like 3,294. So almost a whole 1,200 words more in one chapter. So that's what I've been working on. And then today, the 800 words that I've done so far today have been working on beefing up chapter 3. And I'm only about halfway through beefing up chapter 3. So even though I am technically kind of doing editing, I'm still legitimately adding to my word count. I was like really happy, especially in chapter 2, with some of the details that I added. Like I have this scene where the medic comes into the room and she's wearing like purple gloves, and I add this detail in. I'm like just summarizing. I obviously say this more articulately in my writing, but she has these purple gloves on, and after she's examined this person's scalp who has an injury, she notices she has blood on it, so she peels them off and like folds them in on themselves so that she doesn't, like blood from them doesn't get on anything, and like tosses them to the side and puts on a new pair. And like that added like 2 whole sentences to one part, and I just loved how it flowed. But stuff like that I go back in and I add, because before that, like I said, I am very bare bones on my chapters, and it really helps to add just sensory details and like scene building and all that fun stuff. So that was productive, and I'm going to try to get through beefing up chapter 3 tonight, which will probably, I mean, I am sure that if I finish chapter 3 tonight, I will be through my 1,200 words for the day, because I'm already at 800 words. That means I only have 400 left to do for the evening to meet my goal. But we will see. It depends on how undetailed I was at the rest of this chapter. I've got like 5 more pages. All my chapters always end up being about 10 pages. I don't know what it is. Except for one. I've got this random chapter that's problematic. It's not really problematic. It's just I got this one random chapter that's like twice that. And I need to do something about it. Eventually. I'm going to get there. But for now, I'm not fidgeting with it. But I'm going through. I'm doing that for a little while because I needed to switch gears. I was just feeling burnt out on actual drafting. So I'm getting a little break from that by doing some beef up editing, getting more words in that way. And that way I can also feel a little bit more proud about those chapters, because right then it was just distracting thinking about how crappy they were. So it's been making me feel better about those chapters and more accomplished and helping me keep going. And it is legitimately adding to my word count. Like I added several pages onto one chapter just by doing that. So I'm going to keep going from there. I don't know if maybe that's like a tip you might want to follow. If you happen to also be an underwriter and you find yourself feeling discouraged along the way, maybe switch gears for a little while, go back to your chapters that you've underwritten, just like I'm doing. Get word counts in that way. I mean, you can still count words. However, I did notice today that there is now a button on the Camp Nano thing that says validate your project. So I guess we are going to have to validate our project. That stupid button wasn't there before when I hit my actual goal that was 20,000 words. And I'm a little like apprehensive as to how the heck I'm going to validate this, because I've done like stuff all over the place, just like character building sheets and like adding like what I've been doing where I was beefing up chapters that had already been written, and a lot of my word count goal was outlining. So I don't know how I'm going to validate that. I honestly think I'm going to kind of like cheat on it a little bit, because I know how many words I've done. I've been counting them meticulously. In fact, I think I probably underestimated the words I've done, because I think there was 1 or 2 days where I accidentally didn't count some of my work. So I know that I am not over on my word count. I'm probably a little bit under by maybe as much as 1,000 words. But I'm probably just gonna literally like cut and paste from how far I am in my manuscript to the accurate word count that I know I have, and then just plug that in there. I know it sounds like cheating, but I know how many words I have, and it's on our system. And I know for a fact that anytime I was in doubt of how many words I had done, I always purposely underestimated just to be safe, because I don't want to cheat. And it bugs me that I'm going to have to do that on this, because I know I was bouncing all over the place, and there's no way I'm going to remember what words I did where. It's just not possible. So I will remember that for actual NaNowrimo in November, although it won't be as difficult for that, because that one I have a project already planned, and I will literally just be writing it straight through, and whatever I get done in the month will be just cut and pastable into there for validation. That's just not how I did this particular project, because I was already partway through when I started this month. So that's that. Basically, to summarize, because that was a lot of rambling, if you are an underwriter like me, you might find it helpful to do some beef up editing in your chapters that are underwritten. I have found that extremely helpful, and also it makes me feel less like crap about those chapters. I can now stop being distracted thinking about how much I hope that nobody accidentally gets their hands on those and reads them, because it would be embarrassing. Now I feel more comfortable with them, and I feel like they're at least halfway decent work, and also it has boosted my word count a ton to do that. So that is one suggestion for any of you underwriters out there. And if you guys haven't seen the Validate Project button yet on the Camp Nano thing, you do now know, if you haven't done Camp Nano before and encountered this before, like I hadn't, that you will have to validate your project. You will have to stick something in there to show that you actually did the work you said you did. Although I'm not entirely sure how that works for those of you who are doing like hour goals, like, because I don't know how you would be able to prove how many hours you worked on it, because Camp Nano has like all these different things you could do, or how you'd prove editing goals. Like, I don't know how that would work either, but we'll see. I will do a video when it's time for me to validate my project officially, and I will tell you what that button ends up doing for any of you who may not have had a chance to try it out yet, so that you know what to expect. Alrighty, I'm gonna let you go, because I'm gonna concentrate on driving now and not killing people, because I'm getting on the freeway. And for some reason where I live, they like to have like the on-ramp have like 3 to 4 lanes, and then have all of them turn into one lane within about 100 feet. Whoever designed it here should be fired. Anyway, I'm gonna let you go, because I gotta drive and not kill people. You guys have a great day, and I hope all y'all are reaching your word counts and not hating your material. Alrighty, bye-bye.